All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is our spring transfer fair. Right now, we are hosting from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, University of North Carolina at Charlotte. Today, we're going to have Jamie Dawkins, an admissions representative, kind of give an overview about the school and some programs. And then at the end of this session, she will be answering any of the questions that you post to the Q&A box. So feel free to, throughout the presentation, ask some questions, but she won't be answering them until the end. Thank you again for attending, and we hope you enjoyed. Jamie, go ahead and take it away.
All right, thank you so much for having me. Hello to all of my Wake Tech friends. Normally I look forward to this fair every year and getting to visit you all on campus, but I'm very excited to be able to connect with you in the virtual world. So today I'm just going to go over a little bit of information about UNC Charlotte, about the transfer admissions process, and then I want to be able to answer your questions about Niner Nation. In an effort to make this a little bit more fun, I do have an activity for us. So if you are able to pull up your cell phone or open another browser, we're going to do a little trivia game. So I'm going to see what you all know about UNC Charlotte, and in the middle of that, I'm going to share some more exciting transfer news with you. So if you're able to do so, go to menti.com. It's MENTI. It's right here at the top of your screen. And then put in this code right here, 4769895. So if you'd like to participate, this is a great way to get engaged and learn a little bit more about UNC Charlotte. You're able to join into this session throughout the next few minutes. So if you need a second, that's no problem. But this is going to help me get to know you all so that I can give you guys the best information and also see what you all know about UNC Charlotte. So once you go to menti.com and you put in the code at the top of your screen right here, I am going to go ahead and throw up your very first question. So I just want to know, what are your transfer plans? Are you guys planning to come with your associate in arts degree, maybe that associate in science or associate in engineering, or maybe you have some other transfer degrees that you're pursuing, or maybe you're thinking about transferring early. This just gives me an idea of who's in the audience here. All right, we got an associate in arts friend. We tend to have a lot of those folks. That's great. As you all know, and as you're responding, you know that the associate's degree does transfer to UNC Charlotte. Students that have the associates in arts, associates in science, associate of fine arts, or the associates in engineering are going to receive a general education when they exemption when they transfer to UNC Charlotte. So those degrees are transferable, and all courses from within those degrees that you earn a C or better in are going to come with you to UNC Charlotte. In some cases, we have students that want to transfer before earning an associate's degree, and I'll talk about that here in a little while. So this is super helpful. Like I said, if you weren't able to get your answer in here, feel free to jump in. You can use the same menti.com website and the same code over the next couple of minutes. All right, so the next thing I want to know is, what are your major plans? Do you know what you want to study? Are you undecided? Have you already kind of decided what you want to be when you grow up? Drop those in here. We'll talk a little bit about our programs as well today. I am an alum of the university, so if I like to say that if anyone is a true Niner, that is myself. I loved it so much that I came back and worked for the institution. So I am sure that you folks will also enjoy your time if you decide to make your way to Niner Nation as well. I'm seeing some great majors pop up. Communication studies, cybersecurity is in our computer science major. We have nursing, engineering is very popular, and I know folks at Wake Tech are always interested in the engineering program, so that's super helpful. Great. So it looks like we have a couple of majors. Again, feel free to tune in. This is where it's going to get really fun. So over the next few moments, we're going to test your knowledge on UNC Charlotte. I'll get to see who our winner is here shortly. But go ahead and jump in. And again, feel free to jump into this Mentimeter game throughout the presentation. So first things first, I want to see what you guys know in terms of our university. So on your screen, you should see the question, UNC Charlotte is known for which of the following? If you look at your device, you have a couple of questions there. So you can tell me, do you think we're known for A, B, C, or D? Give everyone a few minutes to hop in and put in their guess. Few more seconds. All right. Yes. So many of you guys got that one correct. We are known as all the following. We are the North Carolina Urban Research University, based on the research that happens on our campus and based on our direct connection with the urban city of Charlotte. We are actually the largest transfer institution in the state of North Carolina. So we bring in more transfer students than any other UNC system. In fact, we bring in almost 4,000 transfer students each and every year. About 65% of those folks are coming from North Carolina community colleges. So you certainly won't be alone if you decide to make your home here at Niner Nation. You also won't have a T on your forehead. I promise our transfer students are getting here, getting connected, finding their niche, and getting involved, just like the rest of our traditional students here. We are also the fastest growing institution in the state, which makes a lot of sense if you think about the Charlotte area. It's really become a well-known area in the last 10 years or so, and the growth that the city has experienced has certainly made its way to our campus. We're really excited about that. It means great new things for our students, like new residence halls, new dining facilities, new lab spaces, but it also means things like a better connection with the city. So we have our light rail system. It's an above ground subway that connects students from our campus directly into Uptown for those internships or shadowing experiences or co-ops. So we're really excited about some of those additions that have come with the growth we've experienced. All right, so my next question for you all, if you want to take a look at your screen, you should see your question is, how many transfer students transfer to Charlotte each year? If you were paying attention, you might already know the answer to this, so let's see how you guys do. Just a few more seconds, might have a couple of other people to add in. All right, well, 6 of our friends heard my little plug here. We are bringing in about 4,000 students each year. It usually turns out to be about 1,000 to 1,500 in the spring, and then about 2,500 to 3,000 in the summer and fall. Now, what I will tell you about these transfer students, as I mentioned before, they're a large population on our campus, and right now, 50% of our undergraduate student body are transfer students. So it's a really cool place, a really cool thing to be a part of that community as a transfer student. So next up, getting an idea of what else you guys know about UNC Charlotte. How many majors do we offer? Any guesses, any thoughts? This one tends to surprise folks a little bit. All right, just a few more seconds. All right, let's see how you guys did. All right, we got a couple that were correct. We are at 171 majors right now at UNC Charlotte. All of our majors are housed in different academic colleges. So for example, we have our College of Arts and Architecture. That's where you're gonna find architecture and performing arts, visual arts. We have our College of Health and Human Services, where you're gonna find social work and exercise science and nursing, a College of Engineering, a College of Computing and Informatics, which is specific to computer science students. We also have the College of Education, and we have our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Also, there's a place for our students who are undeclared. So if students want to apply as an undecided student, you certainly can. And you'll start off with our University Transfer Center, who will help you get on track for an intended major based on your interests, your previous credits, all that good stuff. You might find yourself with our University Transfer Center in a couple of ways. Maybe you apply to UNC Charlotte for a major that is more competitive, which I'll talk about shortly. If you apply to a competitive major and you don't quite meet those additional requirements for that program, we will offer you admission as an undecided student, and you can later on make your way into that major. So we are unique in that when you do apply to UNC Charlotte, we want you to apply for the major you want. It does not harm you in your admissions review doing so, because we will automatically consider you for general admission if we can't admit you directly into your major. So we are a little unique in that. Keep that in mind when you are applying to Charlotte. But we're really proud of the programs that we offer. We like to think we have a little bit of something for everyone. And all of these programs have direct resources, their own advising staff. And because we have such a large transfer team here at UNC, or transfer population, I should say, all of our advisors are trained on transfer credit. So when you are admitted to the pre-social work program, you're going to have an advisor that's a pro in the social work field, but also a pro in understanding your transfer credit and how it applies to your major. And that is the case across our different programs. All right, so next up, just keep the party going here. Wanted to get an idea of what you all know about our total student body. So here at UNC Charlotte, I mentioned we're the fastest growing institution in the state. What do you think that means in terms of our total population? All right, just a few more seconds, get those last minute votes in. Let's see how you guys did. All right, so my one friend that guessed 30,000, you are correct. We actually hit record enrollment this past year and hit that 30,000 student mark, which is really exciting, really impressive. I'm a native Charlottean, and I was floored and excited to find out that we had hit that record enrollment. I do always point out that I understand that 30,000 number can seem a little overwhelming, especially for transfer students. So if for some reason you're feeling a little overwhelmed, don't worry. I'm going to break this number down for you because we do have 30,000 total. About 25,000 of those are undergrad, about 5 to 6,000 of those are graduate students. And then the other thing to keep in mind is that these students are coming from all over the place. So we have almost all 50 states represented. We have students coming from over 100 different countries, and 42% of our students are self-identifying as part of an underrepresented population. So when you get to UNC Charlotte, you're going to feel the diversity. You're going to get integrated into a multicultural environment. And we hope that that's something you're looking for, because here at UNC Charlotte, our goal is to provide you to work in whatever environment you may find yourself in later on down the road. And we hope you're excited about a global experience on our campus as well. All right. My last question for you guys, now that you know our size and who our transfer students are, my hope is that you can take a guess at what do you think our average classroom size looks like at UNC Charlotte. So 30,000 students strong, about half of those folks are transfer. Any guesses on what our average classroom size might look like? Give you guys just a few seconds to get those votes in. All right, let's see how you guys did. Yeah, so a couple of you guys guessed right. 35 is actually our average classroom size, which people tend to be a little surprised to find out. This is something that we're really proud of here at UNC Charlotte, and despite our growth over the years, we have been able to keep our average classroom size at that 35 number. I've been with the institution for about 7 years, and that number has not changed. So we're really proud of that. In addition to our average classroom size staying around 35, our student to faculty ratio is stayed at 19:1 as well. So you have easy access to those faculty members to ask those questions. The one thing I do tell students is that because we are a large public institution, we do offer some classes that are 100 people, 150, but that's not the majority. In fact, about 78% of our classes have 50 or fewer students in them. And as transfer students, you guys are actually at a little bit of an advantage because our large classes are the general education courses, the courses that everyone has to take regardless of major. And you guys tend to be knocking those out at the community college before getting to us. So you really can anticipate the vast majority of your classes being much closer to this 35 average classroom size. So I want to get an idea. Let's see if we had a clear winner here. All right, I love the creativity with the names, but it looks like Johanna took the win this time. So congratulations, Johanna. If you want to stick your name and email address in the Q&A feature, I will get that from our friends at Wake Tech, and I'll be reaching out to you to send you a little prize. So thanks for participating. All right, guys, so I want to switch back gears and go back to where we were talking a little bit more about the university. So a few things that I want to kind of go over, because I know a lot of you, the big thing is you want to figure out what you need to do to get here to UNC Charlotte. And we're going to talk about that. But one of the things I want you to do prior to that is create your Future 49er portal. This portal is eventually where you can do your online application, but it's also how you can stay in contact with our admissions team. You can schedule a tour. We are doing virtual visits as well as some in-person tours this semester. And you can even track your application status as you go through your time in the application process using that Future 49er portal. The other thing I want to kind of just jump right into so that I have plenty of time to answer your questions are our admissions requirements. So what do you need to become a 49er? Our minimum requirements are right here on your screen: 24 transferable credit hours and a minimum 2.0 GPA. These are our minimum requirements for admission into the university. Some majors have additional requirements, which I'll go over shortly. The one thing I will tell you is that you also need to be in good standing with your most recent institution. So at Wake Tech, you need to be in good standing there in order to make your way to us. And while we don't require college math be complete for you to be eligible to transfer, we strongly, did I say strongly, encourage you all to have a transferable math complete prior to transferring. So think Math 171, Math 152 at Wake Tech. Those are some good transferable math classes that will ease your transition if you at least have one under your belt. Now, sometimes students reach out and they're like, hey, Jamie, I want to get to Charlotte before I finish 24 hours. I'm only planning to finish 13 or 15 hours before I transfer. Am I allowed to do that? We do have a process where if a student is not going to have 24 hours by the time they plan to enroll with us, we can review that student based on their high school performance as well. So we look at their performance in their college courses and their performance in high school coursework, as well as their SAT and ACT test scores. So it's a little bit of a more competitive review. And if you're thinking about transferring before earning 24 hours, definitely touch base with our team so that we can talk with you more about that option. Now, I mentioned before, these are your minimum requirements. So if you are thinking about a specific major with additional requirements, I want to go over those. So our competitive majors are going to be here on your screen. We're looking at business, computer science, engineering, and nursing. So for our business students, you can see the GPA requirement jumps to a 2.5. And we'll look at two different GPAs. We'll look at your overall GPA, it needs to be a 2.5, and then we'll also look at any of the business prerequisite classes you may have taken prior to getting to us, because you need to have a C or better in those. You get 2 attempts to get that C, and you need to have a 2.5 within those courses. So think economics, accounting, calculus, statistics, intro to business or intro to business computing. Those are those key courses that you really want to be doing well in. Computer science is also at a 2.5, and we require that you have college algebra, so math 171 at Wake Tech, complete with a C or better. And if you take any computer science courses, so if you take any CSC classes at Wake Tech prior to transferring, you do need to have a C or better in those. Engineering requires a 2.5, unless you're wanting mechanical, which is slightly more competitive, requiring a 3.0 GPA. And you do need to have Calculus 1 complete prior to transferring. So that's going to be Math 271 at Wake Tech. And then, of course, our nursing program, which is probably our most competitive. We're going to review you for admission to pre-nursing. We'll look for a 3.0 GPA. And if you've taken any nursing prerequisite courses like chemistry, anatomy and physiology, microbiology, etc., prior to getting to us, we'll make sure you have a B or better in those courses. When you're ready to apply, we've streamlined this process. It's pretty straightforward. You'll do an online application. There's a $75 application fee. And then we do require an official transcript from high school, as well as an official transcript from every college you previously attended. So yes, here at UNC Charlotte, all transfer students are going to submit an official high school transcript regardless of the number of credits you have. And all students are going to submit an official college transcript from every school they previously attended. So if you've gone to any other colleges besides Wake Tech, even if Wake Tech has your transfer credit, you need to still make sure you send an official transcript to UNC Charlotte for each of your schools. We know that many of you guys are going to apply when you still have classes in progress, and that is totally okay. Send one Wake Tech transcript when you submit your application. We'll use that to try to make your initial admissions decision based on the credits you've earned so far. And then you can always send an updated official transcript once your current semester comes to an end. We don't require transfer students to submit essays, letters of recommendation, personal statements. Those things aren't required for our transfer students. It is a pretty academic review. However, if you have those supplemental items, you want to submit them, you can always email them directly to our office, and we're happy to match them with your application and consider everything you provide us. Our deadlines are on the screen. These are what you're going to want to follow. I do recommend you apply about a semester in advance. So while these deadlines seem a little late, the sooner you apply, the sooner we can make your decision. So don't wait, apply early. That way you have plenty of time to prepare for your transfer. We do have some great tools on the website. We want you to make sure you spend time on our admissions website and check out these transfer credit tools like the Transfer Credit Advisor, where you can search your previously attended schools and see how those credits align with UNC Charlotte courses. We have transfer guides and degree pathways to help map out your time at the community college so that you're taking courses there that align with your intended major here. And know that once you're offered admission to UNC Charlotte, you're going to get a transfer credit report, a formal one with your acceptance letter, and be able to see exactly how your credits are transferring and get access to a degree audit so you can see how those credits are applying towards your intended major. Now, this is everyone's favorite slide, so I'll briefly talk about our tuition and fees. What you're seeing right now on your screen is your in-state and out-of-state tuition based on a full-time, full academic year. So if you were to enroll at UNC Charlotte for the fall and spring, and you were taking 12 or more credits in both semesters, this is what that cost for the year would be. Keep in mind, we do not determine whether a student is an in-state or out-of-state student. That's done by the state of North Carolina, so you will do the residency application to determine that when you apply to Charlotte. We also have options for students to live on campus, obtain meal plans. It's really up to you. Transfer students are not required to live on campus, but we certainly are seeing more and more transfer students want to live on campus. The reason you see a range there in the price is just because we have a lot of housing options. So everything from kind of what you see in the movies, two friends sharing a room, maybe sharing a hall bathroom with a couple of other rooms, That's going to be on the lower end of that range. And then, of course, we have 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartments on campus that are nicer than the home I live in. And those are going to be on the upper ends of that range. And again, you can also obtain a meal plan regardless of whether you're living on campus or not. We do offer financial aid and scholarships. The one thing I will tell you is that financial aid does look different at the four-year institution than what it does look like at Wake Tech. So even if you did not receive financial aid during your time at the community college, we still want you to do FAFSA, and we want you to do it each and every year. That helps you become more eligible for scholarships down the road, but B, it allows us to consider you for financial aid that you may not have been eligible for at your current school. So if you're thinking about starting with us in the upcoming fall, make sure we are listed on that 21-22 FAFSA. If you're thinking about starting with us maybe next spring, so spring 22, you still want to make sure we're on the 21-22 FAFSA, and then in October, you'll do a new FAFSA and you'll add us to that one as well. With our scholarships, we do not award scholarships through the admissions process, but students can apply to scholarships as soon as they submit their application. There's no need to wait for your acceptance. You can actually apply to scholarships as soon as you apply to the university. You go to our Niner Scholars website, you build a profile, you get matched with scholarships that we have available, and you can apply to those of interest. We also know that making the move from the community college to the four-year institution comes with some different financial considerations. So know that there are plenty of things you can do on campus, our university internships, work study, be an RA where you live on campus and you are a leader in your residence hall. You get some perks for your housing costs and meal plan costs. You also get a stipend with that. And then, of course, there are off-campus jobs, which we have a tool known as the Hire a Niner tool that'll help you find on-campus jobs and off-campus opportunities as well. In terms of our campus life, I will tell you that we have some really great things going on here at UNC Charlotte. We have over 400 student organizations, intramural and club sports, Division I sports teams, and then of course, many of our students are studying abroad. So if you are looking to get involved, we have the opportunities for you. Our employers are telling us it is so much more than just what a student does in the classroom that they consider when looking at their future job hires. So we want you to get here, get involved, find your niche, and make Niner Nation truly your home, just like the students on your screen. Keep in mind that about half of them are transfer students just like you, and they've come to our campus and they've made this their home, and they're truly getting the full experience, not just going to class. So we hope that that's something you'll consider. The last little bit I will leave you with is that I mentioned before, we are doing some virtual opportunities. We have an open house event in April, every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. and you can come and connect with us virtually through a virtual info session and tour of campus. We are also going to start offering some in-person tours of campus beginning Wednesday, February 24th, I believe is the date, and they will be every Wednesday for transfer students. And we even have some virtual transfer Saturday events coming up in the upcoming weeks. If you're not following us on social media, be sure you're doing that because we're always on Instagram and Facebook as well, hosting very specific transfer style events on our social media. All right. So that is the nitty gritty of UNC Charlotte. We are hopeful we will see you soon in Niner Nation. But now I really want to open up the floor and hear from you all. What questions do you have? All right.
Hey Jamie, this is Natalia. It looks like Blair may be unavailable.
Okay.
At this time to read some questions, so I'll go ahead and read them to you.
Perfect.
All right. So the first question is, if I transfer to UNC Charlotte with my associates in cybersecurity, will you accept those credits?
So that is a great question. So the Associates of Applied Science degree in cybersecurity is not a transferable degree. There may be some courses within that degree that will transfer with you to Charlotte, but the degree itself probably will not, and you may not have all of the courses that align with our curriculum. So you could be looking at a longer time to bachelor's degree completion. Usually students that want to do cybersecurity at UNC Charlotte will earn their associate in arts or their associate in science at the community college, because it allows them to take more transferable computer science courses in preparation for our program. Students can certainly still move forward with transferring if they earn that Associate of Applied Science degree, but unfortunately some of those classes are just not going to come over and apply towards your intended major.
All right, thank you. Sorry about that, I'm back. I froze a little bit. It's Blair again. All right, thank you, Natalia, for taking over as well. The second question that I'm reading here, it says, do you have a club ice hockey team?
Whew, that's a good question. I do not know off the top of my head, but I can probably take a look. Give me 1 second here. I know we have quite a few club teams, so it is hard to rattle them all off. Yes, there is a club ice hockey team at UNC Charlotte. Absolutely. I'm looking at it right now.
Wow, great. All right. The next question I'm seeing, I'm not sure if this pertains to UNC Charlotte, but let's see. It says, I have an MBA in healthcare and want to pursue nursing from Strayer University. Where will I start?
All right, so if you have an MBA, but you're wanting to do, I'm assuming nursing maybe at UNC Charlotte is probably what I'm gonna guess there. So that would make you, that means you also have a bachelor's degree already complete. So you would apply to UNC Charlotte as a second degree seeking student. We will look to make sure you have at least a cumulative undergraduate college GPA of a 3.0. And then we're also going to look to see if you've taken any of the nursing prerequisites thus far and make sure you have B's or better. Generally in your first attempt, they have a really strict no retake policy. So we will review you as a second degree seeking student, and we will review you for pre-nursing, and you will likely start with us as pre-nursing, finish any of the prerequisites you still need, and then you would apply to the upper division once your prerequisites are complete.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Let's see here. All right, this question could be for either UNC Charlotte or Wake Tech. It just says, how can I connect with an advisor? So I'm assuming you can let us know how a student can maybe talk to an admissions rep or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So our admissions team, we serve kind of as pre-transfer advisors. If you have questions about the courses you're taking at Wake Tech or how they'll transfer over to Charlotte, or if you want to go over some course recommendations based on your intended major and what you're taking at Wake Tech, our admissions team can certainly help with that. You can connect with us in a couple different ways. Always by email. We are offering virtual lobby drop-in hours Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. So anytime Monday through Friday between 9 to 4, you can go to our admissions website, drop into our Zoom virtual lobby. There's a link on the page for you, and you'll meet directly with a one-on-one with an admissions counselor that way. Obviously, our transfer admissions team is also able to schedule appointments. So you can simply go to our admissions counselor's page, find our transfer admissions team, and you can schedule an appointment with one of them. We're hosting virtual appointments. Once students are admitted to UNC Charlotte, all students go through an orientation program, and that is when they actually meet with their UNC Charlotte advisor specific to their major.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, next question. It says, can I transfer without my associate degree?
Yes, that's a great question. Absolutely. So we require students to have at least 24 transferable credit hours. So if you do not want to earn a full transferable associate's degree, you can transfer prior to earning that degree, but you want to make sure you have at least 24 hours and you perform strongly in it. For some of our majors, we really just encourage you to earn the associate's degree because of the benefits that come with the general education exemption, because your community college offers a lot of the major specific courses we would recommend you take. However, some of our students just want to get to us sooner rather than later, and that is perfectly fine. So 24 hours in a 2.0. If you want one of our more competitive majors, those additional specific course requirements and GPAs are still required if you're coming without an associate's degree.
All right, next question. They are asking if you could talk a little bit more about the nursing program.
Sure. Yep. So at UNC Charlotte, we actually have a traditional BSN program, so traditional Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and then we also offer an RN to BSN completion program. So the RN to BSN completion program, that is for students that do an associate in applied science in nursing. They obtain their RN licensure, and then they want to turn that RN licensure into a BSN. So it is a little bit of a different pathway than our traditional BSN. It's a little less competitive. So if you wanted to go the RN to BSN route, you would simply work towards earning your associate in applied science in nursing at Wake Tech, obtain that RN licensure, and then you would pursue our RN to BSN completion program. Most of my transfer students, however, are looking at our traditional nursing program. So the traditional BSN is set up in a lower division and upper division. Essentially, students initially work on prerequisites for the nursing program: anatomy and physiology, chemistry, microbiology, psychology, sociology, some of those key prerequisite courses along with their general education, and that's what they do in the lower division. Once the general education and the prerequisites are complete, students apply to the upper division. So once they're here at Charlotte, they finished all the prereqs, they then apply to our upper division. The upper division is very competitive. It only admits 50 students every semester. Those students usually have anywhere from a 3.6 to a 3.8 GPA. And there could be anywhere from 75 to 175 people applying for those 50 spots. So it is definitely a competitive pathway. We recommend transfer students that want to do our nursing program leave some while you can finish all of those nursing prerequisites at Wake Tech. We actually recommend you save some and take some at UNC Charlotte. So transfer planning to be a pre-nursing student for a period of time so that you can work with our pre-nursing advisors who can help you stay on track for applying to the upper division. Pre-nursing is also competitive. So again, we look for at least a 3.0, 24 hours. And if you have taken any of those science courses prior to transferring, you do need to have a B or better in them in your first attempt. So no retakes in your 4 credit hour science classes.
All right, thank you. Next question. Student is asking if you have any internships for political science majors.
Sure, yeah. So we actually have a ton of internship opportunities across the board. Most of our students utilize our University Career Center, and that is who helps you based on your major. There's career advisors that are split up based on majors to help you identify internships in the area, how to apply to them, how to cater your cover letters to those types of internships, how to cater your resume to those types of internships. And they work with you directly on creating all that so that you're the most competitive for the internships in your field. Internships vary. So we see students will intern with local law offices for political science. We see with our government officials. There's various opportunities for students. And usually they work with the Career Center, like I mentioned. The cool thing, I mentioned it before, we have what's called our Hire a Niner, which if you've ever looked for a job on like Indeed.com or something like that, Hire a Niner is essentially a job listing place, a format where our employers in the area and around us can post their jobs specifically looking for UNC Charlotte students, and then you all have that all in one concise place. You can go through, look at job postings, and apply to the ones that you're looking for. And that's also where our internships are housed too.
All right, awesome. Lots of opportunities. Next question. It says, what is the GPA requirement for biology, and can financial aid pay for study abroad?
Great question. So biology is not going to be one of our competitive majors. So 24 hours in the 2.0 is the minimum requirement. The stronger, obviously the higher GPA, the better, but I usually tell students if you're meeting our minimum requirements, you'll be competitive for admission to the university, and in most cases to your pre-major, so like a pre-biology. I do know that there are some scholarships for biology that if you have a 3.0 or higher, you might be more competitive for. So that's just something to have in the back of your mind, but you could be competitive for admission to pre-biology with a 2.0 or higher GPA. In terms of study abroad, so there are some really cool opportunities with study abroad and with the cost of study abroad. So we have an option for students to participate in what's known as an exchange program. And if you do a study abroad experience through an exchange program, that essentially means you're going to a partnered institution somewhere else in the world where they send students to us and we send students to them. So by you participating or selecting the school that's part of our exchange program, you will actually pay the exact same cost of tuition and fees to study abroad as you would pay to be at UNC Charlotte, which is really, really cool. What that also means is that you can apply your financial aid to that. So I really encourage students that are looking at study abroad opportunities to think through, and when you get to UNC Charlotte, connect with our Education Abroad office as quickly as possible so that you can really explore those most cost-effective options and prepare in advance, because studying abroad does take some preparation. Students can study abroad for a semester, for a full year, for a short term, or even for a summer term. So there's lots of different options for students to choose from. But the sooner you connect with Education Abroad once you're here at Charlotte, the sooner you can really prepare and financially prepare for that experience.
All right, awesome. I wish I would have studied abroad more in school.
It's probably the best thing I did as a college student. I always tell students it's the thing I don't regret. It was the best thing I did. It's totally worth it, especially now that there's these exchange programs where you can go at the same cost as you would be going to take classes at Charlotte.
Yeah, and it is a really good look on your resume later down the road to have those global experiences.
For sure. When I was first coming out of college, the first question I was asked about from my resume was my study abroad experience. So it is, I know employers ask about it, they see it, they want to know about that global experience, and it's a great addition to that resume.
Good, good. All right, next question. If I get an associate in arts degree with Math 171, so pre-calculus, but Charlotte requires communication majors to take statistics, does my degree exempt the statistics?
This is a good question. In this situation, no. So statistics is needed for that comm studies major. So your Math 171 still transfers. However, you're going to still have to take statistics when you get to Charlotte, or you could take stats at CP or at Wake Tech prior to getting to us if you had the space to do so over the summer. So it will that stats class is actually a major requirement versus a gen ed requirement. So you're still exempt from your gen ed, but because stats is required of the major curriculum, you'll still need to take that. The good news is that Math 171 at UNC Charlotte is the prerequisite for statistics, so you'll be able to jump right into that stats class without a math placement test.
Perfect. Okay. I want to pursue nursing with first degree GPA 2.45 and second degree GPA 3.75. Is this possible? I'm assuming they're asking if you do the combination of the GPAs.
So we do calculate a cumulative GPA of all previously attempted college courses. So when we review a student for pre-nursing, we're going to look at a cumulative GPA based on all previously attempted college level courses. Usually students whose GPAs are a little lower than the 3.0 are actually at a better, are more competitive to pursue the RN to BSN route. But obviously it just depends on, we're not going to, average the 2.45 and the 3.75. We're actually going to go course by course and calculate a cumulative GPA based on all college credits previously attempted. So the other thing to keep in mind is that when you say first and second degree, if your first degree is a bachelor's degree and your second degree is an associate's degree, obviously the number of credits within those weighs differently. So if you've only done 60 credit hours of an associate's degree, but your first bachelor's degree is 120 credit hours, we're going to be calculating a degree of 180 credit hours then, or I'm sorry, a GPA based on 180 credit hours. So more of those would need to be the stronger GPA than less than. So it's a little bit more of a complicated process. I would say if you want to do a nursing program at Charlotte and you have concerns about where your previous course credits or where you're kind of sitting with GPA, come sit down virtually with myself or one of our other transfer counselors so we can look at some maybe unofficial transcripts and just get a better idea of really where you stand and what might be the best transfer pathway. For a lot of those students, we do usually recommend the RN to BSN pathway because it's a less competitive option, but there is possibility that we could look at that student as a traditional transfer for nursing as well.
Awesome, thank you. A student is asking, are there auditions prior to joining the marching band or band?
All right, so the Pride of Niner Nation marching band is phenomenal, first and foremost. They are awesome. They actually practice right outside my office. So when I am on campus, I get to hear that all semester long prior to our games. And nothing gets you more in the school spirit than hearing our marching band get going. So that is a really cool thing. So with UNC Charlotte's marching band, there's a couple of things just to keep in mind. We want students to reach out to marching band sooner rather than later. There's an interest form and there are auditions. But only there's different auditions depending upon where in marching band you fall. So obviously there's an audition for our winds folks, there's an audition for color guard, and then there's an audition for drumline. The marching band website has some really good information. They even have an interest form, so even transfer students can fill out the interest form on the marching band's website, and they'll connect with you more about how to audition, when to start prepping for that, and what all is needed to go through with that process.
Very cool. All right. Does UNC Charlotte have any partnerships with big IT companies?
Yeah, so I would say our College of Computing and Informatics is very unique. So College of Computing and Informatics is where all of our computer science programs are housed. We offer a BA in computer science. So if you're thinking that you want to do human computer interaction, or you're thinking you want to do IT, that's going to fall under the BA track in the computer science major. If you're thinking you want to go cybersecurity or software engineering or AI and robotics, that's going to fall under our BS in computer science. Regardless of which route you're going, there are going to be amazing partnerships because we have an entire college dedicated to computer science. It's not housed within engineering. It's its own separate college with its own separate resources, its own set of faculty members, its own set of advisors, and their own resources. So computer science students, I will tell you right now, our largest hirer of computer science students is Bank of America, which tends to surprise some folks, but that is actually who is hiring our computer science folks more at the highest rate. But we have other companies that are very interested. I will tell you with computer science, those folks are often participating in the student organizations within the College of Computing and Informatics as well. So they do professional development events with student orgs, they come and guest lecture in classes, and even there's some mentoring programs with some IT folks in the field or in the surrounding area as well to help our students. So there's some really great options for the IT folks. Like I said, it is the BA in computer science at UNC Charlotte. Your concentration would be information technology. And so while your core computer science courses will look the same for all of our programs, the IT folks will take obviously junior and senior levels focused in the IT realm, and will connect with the partners in our area through that.
All right. Okay, couple of questions again about some nursing. It says, if I apply to the nursing program and I have completed all prerequisites, will I still have to join the pre-nursing program? And also, what are scholarship options for nursing students?
So I know that there are some scholarships for nursing students. I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but if you were admitted to nursing, you would be matched with those scholarships depending upon your GPA, and you could apply to those individually. So there are some scholarships specific to nursing students. I just don't know how many or their exact amounts off the top of my head. So students can finish all of their prerequisites prior to transferring and transfer to UNC Charlotte with all prerequisites complete. However, if a student goes that route, they have to do 2 applications at the time they apply to UNC Charlotte. You have to apply to UNC Charlotte as a transfer student with the nursing program as your intended major. We review you for pre-nursing. So sorry, guys. I'm working from home, clearly. My guard dog is right here behind me. But so our students that want to go straight into the upper division will have to do a secondary application. So if you finish all of your prereqs before getting to us, you do 1 application as an undergraduate transfer student. We review you for pre-nursing. At the same time you're doing that transfer application, you also have to be applying directly to the upper division of the nursing program, which is a separate nursing school application, and it even has different deadlines. So you actually have to apply to UNC Charlotte very far in advance in order to be considered for that option. It's not the route we recommend because of how competitive the upper division is, and because we know the upper division review is based on points. So you get points for your certain GPA, you get points for having your CNA and for having volunteer or paid hours in the field, but you also get points for having completed some courses at UNC Charlotte. And because the upper division is already so competitive, if students can save some of those prerequisites to take at Charlotte, they're going to get some additional points in that upper division review. But they will review students who want to apply directly to the upper division. It just requires you to do 2 applications at the same time and very, very early. So if you wanted to finish all your prereqs and apply to UNC Charlotte Nursing for a spring, you would actually apply to UNC Charlotte like the first day of August, and also start on your nursing application the very first day of August, because the nursing school deadline is August 31st. If you're wanting to start in the fall at UNC Charlotte, the upper division nursing deadline has actually already passed, which was January 31st. So students that want to go to UNC Charlotte directly, apply directly to the upper division, have to apply to UNC Charlotte and do the School of Nursing application in early January. So there is a pathway for it. It's just very competitive, and we would recommend that we generally recommend students save some of those prereqs to take at Charlotte if they're wanting to go our traditional nursing route. In terms of study abroad opportunities for nursing students, sorry, I saw that one right below it while we're talking about nursing. Our nursing students, they can participate in study abroad. If they do, many of them do it, from my understanding, in the summer, not during an academic year, because you can't take nursing courses outside of the country for licensure purposes. And so you wouldn't necessarily be taking major specific classes if you did that, maybe electives or courses towards a minor of interest. Many of our nursing students, though, due to the rigorous curriculum of nursing, if they do study abroad, it's usually early on with their general education, or maybe over a summer as they work to complete some elective classes.
Okay, and again, along with nursing, you've probably answered this, but how many people are admitted to the nursing program every year?
Sure. So for pre-nursing, we don't have a cutoff. If you have the 24 hours, the 3.0 and Bs in your prerequisites, we can offer you admission to pre-nursing. The upper division of nursing only admits 50 students every fall and 50 students every spring. So that is kind of, pre-nursing is a little different than the upper division.
All right. What is the acceptance rate for business major transfer students?
Ooh. So acceptance rates are not something that we really look at, because they vary pretty significantly every year based on the number of applicants we get. So what I tell students is our admissions requirements are black and white. When you apply as a transfer student, it's not the same as freshman admission. Students that meet our transfer admissions criteria are offered admission to UNC Charlotte. We try to take the guessing game out of it. We don't want you to stress unnecessarily. So for business students, if you have 24 hours, a 2.5 overall GPA, a 2.5 GPA within business courses like economics, accounting, stats, calculus, intro to business, and intro to computing. So if you have a 2.5 in those courses, C's are better within 2 attempts at those courses, we're going to be able to offer you a spot in our Bell College of Business. So don't worry so much about the acceptance rate. That actually doesn't matter for our transfer students, because if you meet our requirements, we're going to offer you admission.
All right, awesome. And this last one is about your contact information. Yeah. So it says, can you give us your email?
I can. I'm actually going to, if it will help, I'm actually going to put my contact information right here on a shared screen so you all have it. And what I will tell you guys is that in my email response, if you want to schedule a one-on-one meeting, I have that opportunity. I have that available in my email. So just let me know if you want to schedule a one-on-one. I can send you the link to put that on your calendar. All right, is my screen sharing, Blair?
It is. Let me go ahead and cue that up for everybody.
I know we had a lot of nursing questions, those business questions, the computer science. Because those programs are competitive, I do encourage you to review those competitive requirements. If you have questions or concern that you're not quite meeting them, reach out to me. We can look through your current situation and that kind of thing. I know sometimes when we get into those nitty-gritties, it gets a little bit harder. But all of our programs are wonderful, and we are definitely happy to connect with you guys as you continue to consider your options at Charlotte. And I can certainly meet one-on-one with students in the upcoming weeks to make that process as seamless as possible.
All right, looks like we have another question here. Yes, and everybody, we went ahead and put Jamie's email address as well in the Q&A, even though it's up on the screen, you have both there. Are there any majors or minors for people who are interested in acting or theater?
Yeah, so we actually are, so I will tell you that our folks, our College of our College of Arts and Architecture, I'm going to be a little biased. They're some of my favorite folks here on campus. I absolutely just adore them and how well they work with transfer students. And a lot of our majors have tons of room for minors without it adding on time to your experience at UNC Charlotte. So in terms of the in terms of within our College of Arts and Architecture, I was going to pull up, I think that there are actually a few different ones, so I didn't want to leave any of them out. So there is a theater minor that you can pursue. The theater minor is actually going to be about 18 credit hours. So usually most majors have about 15 to 20 hours of elective credit, so that minor fits in really nicely there. And the theater minor does include acting, and it gives you an opportunity to learn a little bit more about musical theater and other types of theater as well, and it even gives students the opportunity to participate in some of our theater events on campus.
Sounds awesome. Are there any minors for game design?
For game design, so the College of Computing and Informatics, they do have some minors. I know they have a software development. I know they have a software systems minor. I don't think that there is there is the management information systems minor. There's not a game design specific minor. So that there is a game design concentration within the BS of computer science, but there's not a standalone minor that you can get supplemental to that. So if that was the field you were wanting to go into, the BS degree in computer science with that concentration would be your best bet. But you could always look at some of the other computer science minors if you were of interest of those.
All right, awesome. Okay, we have about 10 minutes left here with Jamie. So if anyone has last minute burning questions, please go ahead and type them in our Q&A box. We also posted, which I'll go ahead and repost, a survey about this event. It's really helpful for us as advisors for you students to fill that out. That way we know what to improve on for next event and get your feedback. So please fill out the survey and go ahead and get any last questions for Jamie in.
Thank you all so much for being here. This has been great. I love the questions coming in, and I love the opportunity to be able to answer some of those more direct questions as well. So this has been awesome.
Yeah, we are very happy to have you. So thank you for attending today.
Sure. And if you want, Blair, I can actually drop a couple of links into the Q&A. So I can, I'm actually going to drop a few things in there. I'm going to drop our transfer admissions webpage.
Okay.
So students can easily access that, and that's where they can actually see more about those virtual visit experiences that we're offering, how to tune in. So they can have that link there. And then the other thing that I'm going to drop in there are some of those transfer credit tools. So for students that know what they want to study and want help identifying the right courses for their intended major, they can find those tools on this site here. And then I'm also going to put one last link in there because I actually am just one of our transfer team. We have a couple of other amazing transfer admissions counselors. So I'm going to provide you guys the link of all of your transfer admissions counselors at UNC Charlotte that can connect with you and answer your transfer questions. So if you go to this link that I just put in there, you can actually see all of our shining faces, our emails, how to sign up for virtual appointments with us, and all of that good stuff. So that way you all can definitely stay connected and let us know how we can better help you.
Thank you so much. And two last questions we just got in. A student is wondering if you could speak a little bit about the graphic design program.
Yeah, so historically, graphic design has been a concentration within our Bachelor's of Fine Arts with a major in art. So students used to get a BFA degree with a major in art and a concentration in graphic design. However, this year we rolled out our very first graphic design major. And we're really excited about that addition. It was added for a couple of reasons. We have actually a really high interest rate in the graphic design program. There's a lot of job opportunities in the Charlotte area for graphic design. So it is going to be your true graphic design program. It does have a strong art foundation. So think drawing, think there will be some art history integrated in there. But you will get the stronger focus on the design aspect of things versus our traditional art major, which has a lot more of the art courses built into the core. So it is more of a standalone major than it historically has been, but it does still have some of those foundational art classes, many of which you can take during your time at Wake Tech. The graphic design program does require a supplemental application, and it only admits students in the fall. So if you want to study graphic design or any of our art majors at Charlotte, you do have to transfer for a fall semester, and you will do a secondary application. So you'll apply as a transfer student to UNC Charlotte. We will review you for admission to the university to pre-art, and then you will submit a portfolio application process to the School of Art, and they will review you for admission into the graphic design program. So your portfolio that you submit to the art department is a series of works that you choose that you want to submit. You provide a little brief overview of what you're submitting. You can submit various different types of artwork to be considered in that portfolio review. And the School of Art will determine whether you're admitted directly into the graphic design or art program based on that secondary application. You do have to be admitted to UNC Charlotte before you can apply to complete that secondary application. So art students really are encouraged, if you're thinking this upcoming fall, graphic design or art really should be applying now to allow plenty of time to do that secondary art application by the early part of February.
All right, some great information. Another question has come in. How competitive or how difficult is it to get accepted into any exercise science or sports medicine majors? Is that one of those competitive programs?
So exercise science, we unfortunately don't have a sports medicine program, but a lot of our exercise students end up working in that realm. And we even have an athletic training graduate program at UNC Charlotte that a lot of our exercise science students look into as well. But the exercise science major is a pre-major in an upper division. So students apply and start as a pre-exercise science student. There are a few prerequisites that don't have equivalencies at the community college. So you'll take a few of those as a pre-exercise science student. And that piece of it is not competitive. 24 hours in a 2.0, you will be competitive for admission to pre-exercise science. When you go to apply to the upper division, it does get slightly more competitive. They do prefer to see a 2.5 or higher GPA, but it's certainly not as competitive as a nursing program. There are definitely more spots in the exercise science upper division. I'm not sure on the exact number, but it is significantly larger. And the exercise science upper division admits students in the spring and in the fall semester. So there's multiple opportunities for you to move into that upper division once you finish your prerequisites and have the 2.5 required GPA. So it's certainly not as competitive as nursing or mechanical engineering like some of our other programs, but it does require prerequisites, and it does require you to have a higher GPA when it comes time for you to move into the upper division.
All right, awesome. And along with that, the student is asking if there are jobs available once graduating with an exercise science degree. So if you could just speak a little bit about how UNC Charlotte helps with job placement.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do a couple of things. Every student has a career counselor. I mentioned this before. They help. They're major specific or kind of area specific. So the reality of it is, when you go to apply a job after earning an exercise science degree, what employers want to see on your resume, your cover letter as an exercise science student is different than what they want to see on an educator's resume. So you have a career advisor who's specific to your field that can really help you tailor that information. And so that's one of the key things to help with the placement. The other thing is that we also offer various job fairs throughout the year. Some are specific to an area, a work area, and some are just general and open to all kinds of employers across the area. And there's this really cool tool on our website called What Can I Do with a Major In? And I love this tool because it allows students to look at their specific majors and identify what our students at UNC Charlotte are doing once they've earned that degree. So I'm actually going to drop that link into the chat here so that you guys can take a look at it. But just in looking at what our students are doing once they graduate with that exercise science degree, many are going on to graduate school. So some go on, like I said before, to do an athletic training program or some other type of like graduate level degree. Physical therapy is popular and that kind of thing. But some of our students do go directly into the workforce. So we see students going into they're either working, some of our students actually work in higher education, maybe for a rec center or working with outdoor leaderships. Some of our students are working in hospitals, maybe at a rehabilitation center, a nursing home, health clinics. So we do see that our exercise science students don't have to go on to graduate school to get a meaningful job. Also, a lot of our exercise science students go into managing like health facilities, or even some of them go into doing like fitness instruction. So you don't come out certified for fitness instruction from that degree, but a lot of those students are doing getting certified in addition to their major, so they have some additional job opportunities upon graduation.
All right, awesome. We are right at 2 o'clock, everybody. So if you have any final questions, please get those in really quick. But we really want to thank Jamie today. For those of you who maybe have had a friend who wanted to attend but couldn't, we will be getting the videos up to our Wake Tech YouTube channel by next week. So just keep that in mind if there's something that you've missed. We'll get that up next week. But in the meantime, I don't see any questions. Everybody, please be sure to complete the survey and go ahead and check out all those links that Jamie has so graciously shared with us, and her email address, which I have still left on the screen. So if there is nothing left, again, Jamie, we are so happy to have had you, and we appreciate it, and look forward to working with you again.
Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Happy Wednesday.